Okay, this is my review from the latest movie, It's a Good Day to Die Hard. Basically, all it was is old man Willis causing a whole lot of trouble in Moscow. Now, the movie was not terrible. I mean, I've seen more recent terrible movies other than that, but to be honest with you, it was, well, Live Free or Die Hard was better. Now, that's not really saying anything. Compared to the original three Die Hard movies, Die Hard, Die Harder, and Die Hard with a Vengeance, the last recent Die Hard movies don't really stack up to those, but prior to this, I actually looked at the original Die Hard movie on Blu-ray, and then after I finished watching that, I actually watched Die Harder, and then after that I watched Die Hard with a Vengeance. It's kind of like a Die Hard marathon I was going there. Now, those movies are far better than this one, but even the original was far from perfect. So I'm not gonna completely trash this last movie. I mean, it had some charms there and some where I just could not suspend disbelief. Well, first of all, it's basically, like I said, old man Willis. There's a lot of scenes in this movie where you just see how much Bruce Willis had aged. It's like, really, I don't know how to say it like that. It's like, he is an old man. He has jowls, which of course happens to all of us. We all get old, but it's almost like it's hard to believe that this old man can not only survive a lot of destruction and explosions all around him, but he can also kick ass at the same time. I won't go into much details about the movie, but there is one scene to where basically he should have been burned alive. Another one, he should have been crushed, plummeted, and basically should have had all of his bones shattered. And yet he gets up there like it was nothing. Kind of like an episode of Jackass, but I let that slide because after all it is an action movie, and we're used to seeing John McClane get the shit beat out of him and yet still keep going on like the Energizer Bunny. However, when you look at him, you should know that I'll go ahead and say it. He should be walking with a cane. That's how old he looks. Now, compared to the last one, Live Free or Die Hard, yeah, he's an old man there, but not as old as he is now. If you compare the two movies together, side by side, and you look at Bruce Willis, it's like, within those couple of years, he aged drastically, or the makeup department was that harsh on him this time around. I mean, even when he did The Expendables 2, where he was actually kicking ass alongside Arnold Schwarzenegger, he looked a whole lot better than what he looks like now. Now, that could be anything. It could have been makeup, it could just that his body is now getting older than it is now, it's showing, and it just could be nothing. It just could be nature itself. I don't know, but you see a big difference in there to where it's like he's not the same action hero anymore. It's not the same person almost. Even though it is the same person, it's not the same John McClane that we're used to seeing. Now, that being said, that should be the case, because this is an older, more bitter, less cocky, and less, I don't want to say arrogant, but like with the other movies where he would always have like a one-liner or a catchphrase or something like that, it's downplayed a lot here, to where he's older, he's wiser, one of the plot points in the movie, he's trying to reconnect with his son. As the movie starts out with, he goes to Moscow because his son is in trouble. I'm not going to tell you the full details, but basically his son commits a crime, he's put on trial, and he goes to Moscow to witness the trial in action with his son, and all of a sudden all hell breaks loose by some group, and it's not for his son. It turns out that his son deliberately got himself in trouble to get close to another person. And like with all Die Hard movies, there's always a twist or a plot twist that envelops that you either catch on in the beginning or you slowly come to realize that. This one, like with all Die Hard movies, does not disappoint, and that's what you're expecting, and it does happen that way. The problem is not as clever as the previous ones. Even Live Free and Die Hard was a lot more clever than this. I mean, if you... And that's the other thing, there was a better plot story in Live Free and Die Hard than this one. They really did thought about what they wanted to do with that movie, just like with the other three. In this one, it seemed like, let's get Bruce Willis and some young guy to play his son's character. The character of... I screwed that up. Basically, what they do with this one is that, hey, let's just get Bruce Willis and a younger actor and have them just shoot up a bunch of bad guys and blow shit up. Brilliant. That was, I guess, the whole point of that. The plot itself is so simple, or not say so simple, it's barely talked about, that you kind of, at times, forget why are they there, why are they doing this, what is it that they're looking for. And of course, some of the villains in this movie are also forgettable. I mean, there's one villain in there that is actually kind of interesting. You want to know more about him, but you don't. And sadly, yeah, he pretty much dies before you even get a chance to like him or get to know him more. The true villain, which I'm not going to say, is not as interesting. The true villain seemed like they were just giving us a cheap shot. I swear it was kind of like downplayed like that. Overall, I can just rant and rant on about it, but that's not really the case. Like I said, it's not a bad movie, it's pretty decent. I mean, if you're looking to see some action, forget about your problems for like about an hour and a half, this is a good action movie. I mean, it's on the same level as Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines in terms of the action and the story. Although, the Terminator 3 movie had a better story, a better plot that they stuck with. This one, I mean, see, Bruce Willis shooting up bad guys, a younger actor playing the character's son, shooting up bad guys, father and son kicking ass, and shooting up a whole bunch of Russians. I mean, it was entertaining on that level, yes. But if you're looking for something that is more into the spirit of the Die Hard franchise, this one is the weakest of them all. The only problem that I have with this is that, depending on its success, I mean, I already knows that Rotten Tomatoes have already given it bad reviews for it, and has really given it a low score, or not a low score, but not a good score. I'm just afraid that the audience may go out in droves to see this just because it's Die Hard, it's Bruce Willis. They can expect nothing but good things from that franchise. And they should. But this one is not the best of them all. And if this movie gets to be a success just because of the name brand that it's carrying, I'm afraid we might see a 6th Die Hard movie, a 7th Die Hard movie, and maybe even an 8th Die Hard movie that could be better than this movie, but the rate that this is going, the quality is going to be much, much less. More quality on the action and the violence, and not a whole lot on the story and the plot, which of course, even for a Die Hard movie, that there's not that much plot, it's just more about the action, but they still considered to have a plot point in the story developed to make it work. Again, the only plot point in here is just trying him to reconnect with his son, which is barely done, and trying to figure out what is going on in Moscow that's causing all this chaos and confusion. And that's, I mean, everything goes so fast between the violence and the action that they don't give it much time of development. I think that's the biggest problem. More action than actual plot development. Now, of course, if you, like I said, despite that, it's still good. If you want to see some good action, you're not going to be disappointed. I would not recommend you see this at a full price. I would say see this in the matinee, wait until it's on video, or on Netflix. I would not pay top dollar for this. And honestly, if this was, by the time this comes into that $5 bin at Walmart or something like that, I don't think I would pay for it. Anyway, that is my review on it and my opinion about the movie. Like I said, it's not a bad movie, just not something that you would want to see to pay, not something that you want to pay to see for top dollar price. Discount price, maybe once. I wouldn't even rent the movie. I would wait until it's on TV to actually enjoy and watch. Anyway, that is my review. Enjoy.